No.
Yeah, because I will have a main recording, so I'll be able to sync him off on that.
Okay, recording. Did that help?
Just 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'll be able to sync him off that. Okay, we'll go from that. It's all good.
Okay. Why do I feel like this is going to end terribly as well?
Because it is going to end terribly.
Hooray! Terrible endings are my favorite.
Podcasting sucks. Well, we suck at podcasting, actually. It's not like podcasting sucks.
Can you send me the link?
The link that VNC hasn't been kind enough to remove the name from, apparently. Link that I'm listening to myself. Oh God, no! Please, please, please don't do this to me. There we go.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Is that so? That's it.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Wait. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have the list of the things that?
No, but I've got a topic I would like.
It's on OBS. We can start with your topic, Angus.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start with your topic.
It's gonna be short, but
I said, tell me.
No, that's
what she said. Ooh. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah,
yes.
we're live.
Oh, hello, internet.
Hello, internet. How are you?
I think the internet's fine.
Shut up.
Let's move on. Let's move on from that bombshell of an intro.
1, 2, 3. Cool. Hi everyone. How are you?
How are you guys?
Hello.
We do have all the chats live, so we've got the Discord chat live, we've got the YouTube chat live, we've got every second chat live that's humanly possible.
Cool.
Okay, so this is our first podcast, which will probably end terribly, as everything we do does.
Yeah, everything that we seem to create seems to be able to kick us in the butt somehow. So
everything I touch, I destroy and kill. It's
yeah,
my best rule of
like
thumb. If I don't kill it, I haven't done my job.
If technology doesn't break when it's near me, it means there's something already wrong with that piece of technology.
Or you're just having an off day.
So
I even broke a Rode microphone of all things.
How did you do that?
I dropped it and all the buttons at the back fell off.
How?
I would be amazed and confused if I knew what a was, but I don't.
I'll send you a photo later.
Send him a photo.
Put it in the link dump.
Oh.
Okay, so I have a thing that I've discovered.
We've got a thing.
Okay,
Talk.
so as we are aware, the police force is renowned for eating donuts. Right, it's in all the popular media. Well, I have received a post from the New South Wales Police Force. As of today, police officers, all operational police officers in New South Wales, are banned from eating donuts while in uniform.
Seriously? That's such disappointment.
Yeah, well, it's a precautionary measure. This is a quote. So, as the public will be aware, donuts are a convenient and tasty food. However, they are extremely messy.
Fattening.
This results in potentially untidy police vehicles and food spillages in the uniform.
But so does every other food.
Correct, but apparently donuts are much worse.
But
they also discuss staying healthy and
boring.
Creating a healthier image, because there's the image about police eating donuts and stuff. So.
No, I believe it's specifically the NYPD that I have a very profound image of.
With the NYPD, it's either going to be donuts or bagels. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Predominantly donuts, but realistically bagels.
Sorry if there's any American viewers. It's just what the films have stereotyped you guys as.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
All listeners.
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah, they made the films. Yeah, fair point. They did make the films.
Yeah. Donuts became the holy alliance with policing in the late 40s, and American police officers worked odd hours, and the options for food in the early hours were limited.
Huh.
So donuts represented a convenient and cheap option. Hello, Kat.
So we're just going to move to cake instead.
We're just don't know. We're just going to move to Macca's where they go.
Oh,
Anyway.
Mac is where they can get drive-through and they get 50% off or whatever it is.
There's that, or I walked into Subway this morning. There were 2 officers from the station.
Yeah, but Subway's like healthy.
But then they said they were going to look for somewhere else to eat today, but everywhere was closed, so they're back to Subway again in the 2nd day in a row.
Wow.
Fair, because it's Easter long weekend.
You want
any other weekend.
You want to know something about that discount that they give? It's not actually an enforced law. The higher ups of the company, because McDonald's, for example, is a company owned by another company. It's not just McDonald's, right?
Who owns McDonald's?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's like Bunnings is owned by Wesfarmers, right?
Yes.
Was McDonald's bought out? I thought it was bought out, but it was bought out in the sense that it was still remaining.
I don't know. But anyway, the higher ups tell them, no, don't give them the discount, right? Because, they lose money from it. But then what the stores do is they then give them a discount anyway, because that then, A, gets them to come back more often, so spend more money, and B, if they give them a discount, they become friendly with them, and that means that if they have an emergency, they will have a quicker response time.
I'm fairly certain that's not how it works, but okay.
This is coming from the mouth of my tutors, mate. And yeah, so a lot of these places, they're told not to, but they do it anyway, so then they have this relationship with the police.
Well,
and other
I can tell
emergency
you,
services.
one thing that would inspire me to become a police officer would be the McDonald's discount. Mint condition. Right
not like the half decent pay or like the respect.
No, none of that. It'd be the McDonald's discount. We all know how important that is.
I mean, I'm joining mainly for the fact I might get to see a body some. Maybe not. I don't know.
See, I want to join the military just because I want a easy apprenticeship as a mechanic.
Trust me, mate, it's not an easy apprenticeship.
No, but they give them away. You can't actually get an apprenticeship really anywhere else.
Yeah, but mate, that's hard work.
Yeah, I know.
Sean, are you seeing any problems with this plan of his? Bueller, you there?
No, Bueller left.
Where'd he go?
He took his sick day. He took his sick day. His only sick day that we allow him to have, literally in the middle of a podcast.
God damn.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
we can't wait for Sean to get back.
Where'd he go? Did he even say?
I don't know.
All right.
Apparently, completely moving off topic onto the slightly new segment of this podcast. Apparently, Microsoft's lead title of selling Xboxes at the moment, Sea of Thieves, has actually been doing surprisingly well, but apparently the cross-platform thing isn't going too well for them. They've apparently found some... Huh?
Why is that? Would it have anything to do with auto-aim, perhaps?
It would have a few things to do with auto-aim, and a few other things to do with being able to see chests in the ground without digging them up.
Mate, I wish. We've spent hours looking for chests.
Yeah, we've spent a fair bit of time looking for chests sometimes. Sean, are you trying to get something out?
I'm 15 gig down on the download.
When I played Sea of Thieves with you a week ago, I had almost no difficulty finding chests.
They get actually quite hard.
They do, because I think Ryan's been trying to perfect the order of the merchants, and I've been doing the.
No, I've been doing the skull ones. I've been doing
the gold hoarders. So as you go on, you can buy chests. So instead of them being free, they're then 20 coins, 40 coins.
They get harder,
They get hard to find. So you get the riddles. They become hard to find, but they become worth more.
And the riddles start to become unclear because they start off saying go to the southeast of the island, and then they start just saying in the general southeast of the island.
Okay.
And they get vaguer and vaguer.
You're talking about a level that I haven't got up to yet.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, because you're saying it's was it see-through texture or something like that? So you just see through.
Yeah, you just see through everything.
Just see the chest.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
But it does lead to the other advantage, Sean, is that they can see your chest before you even know where it is.
I see.
They see it underground already, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, okay.
But anyway, any form of modifications of games is no fun for everybody else,
Sorry,
especially a big multiplayer game.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless it's on a private server and you're all doing it.
On private servers, sure. If it's a single-player game, sure. Big multiplayer games, mods, you take the fun out of it. I'm sorry.
I do.
Like, I don't see the fun in the person who's using the mods either. Sure, they can get higher levels, but it means everyone stops playing the game, so what's the point of having your higher level?
I also want to point out here that our streams with Sea of Thieves have been relatively successful. Specifically, the one that Sean was not in.
I don't know, because the one that I did was the most successful that I've done.
In saying that, the one titled Yo Ho Ho and a Box of Kraken, starring Two-Faced Cafe 509, we all know who that is. 87 views as of current.
Yeah.
That's not bad, actually.
A bottle of Kraken. How many is a bottle of whiskey? Which is my personal stream.
Excuse me, we all know Kraken is a better drink here.
I do wish to point out space.
It's actually space question mark and then space.
Nobody asked you, Ryan. 264, which I believe is quite. From what I've been told, I didn't do $2 maths, but that's a big number.
That is a big number.
Not by YouTube standards, but by our standards.
But by our anything above 10 is big for our standards. Let's be reasonable here.
Considering in the suggested box is a Jimmy Carr video with over 2 million. So yeah, there's that.
Also continuing on the topic of Sea of Thieves, I do wish to point out that apparently we have our first pirate legend among us.
We do. What was his name?
It's right here. Prodigy X. So the I is a 1 and it's a capital X at the end.
Have you heard about this, Sean?
No, I have not. What is this?
So basically, the premise of this guy is he's a streamer. I think he's a Twitch streamer.
Hi,
and what he did was
how you doing?
He got his followers to get on the same server as him and farm chests for him. So they'd go out, they'd get quests of their own, bring him their chests, and then he'd sell them.
And then he'd just sit there and sell them. Yeah.
He'd then rank up, and he got to rank 50 in all 3 of the orders. So he's the first legendary pirate, and he did that within 10 days of it being released. That
Rare is actually surprised about because they haven't. Apparently, there is a lot of post content that you'll be able to do once you become a pirate legend.
But he's got access to a whole bunch of exclusive content.
Yeah, they didn't actually think anyone would get that far this quickly, so it's not actually in the game.
It'd be underdeveloped and not in yet.
Yeah, it's not actually around yet. And apparently, Mad Kaiser turned 20 today, so that's...
Happy birthday to Mad Kaiser.
It's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Mad Kaiser. But yeah, a lot of people are using the hashtag at the moment called #NotMyPirateLegend.
Not my pirate legend, yeah.
And a lot of people want his pirate legend status to be removed because he was exploiting the game.
But now, you see, Ryan stands on that it was that he cheated, he didn't do it honorably.
Well, no, I don't say he cheated. I say he exploited a loophole in the game.
Yes, but the way I look at it is that he used some ingenuity, he used his fan base, and he acted like a true pirate. He stole and pillaged his way to the top.
But he did mention in a few streams earlier that anyone who used the exploit was boring and corny.
Alright, well I haven't heard that part.
Yeah, he was apparently bagging out exploiters a bit earlier before he started exploiting Sea of Thieves.
Right, okay, well that makes a bit more sense then.
So, that's how come I stand quite negatively on the subject. I couldn't care less if someone became a pirate legend. I'm aiming for the title. I just want to get there for the sake of getting there. I couldn't care who came first or who comes last. We're looking at you, Sean. We're looking at you.
And he's gone again. Okay, that's good.
And he's gone.
Where does he keep going?
He's a yo-yo, I tell you. Oh, I'm getting to the end of this drink and it's pure alcohol at the end. Oh,
generally
the burn.
I can imagine
40%. 40% alcohol.
What was that?
That was just me knocking part of it over.
If you haven't noticed, we're not in the same room.
I wish we were in the same room. We were going to be in the same room.
We're all recording separately.
But
Hey, I did not tell you not to come over.
Yeah. No, it was Sean that had already had pre-drinks, and Sean screwed it over for us. Sean had pre-drinks, so he couldn't drive.
It's all your fault, man, who cannot hear us.
And I can't drive yet. That's an August achievement, people.
An August 2. You're gonna get your P's and a little Xbox logo.
Yeah, the Xbox. I'm gonna attach the Xbox logo to the car and say achievement get full license. Well,
achievement received.
Achievement get.
So I'm back.
Oh, we missed you so much.
Yeah, we missed. You missed me knocking over the last remainder bit of my drink, the teeniest bit.
No.
Apparently mopping it up.
We're just in the business of mocking you, but that's beside the point.
That as well.
Yeah, so...
I also want to point out, continuing the gaming trend of this stream, Lindsay Lohan. Now, she's made news for multiple reasons throughout her life.
Oh, I read about this,
Yeah. If any of you aren't familiar, back in 2013 when GTA 5 first released, she tried to sue Rockstar, saying that
GTA 5 is still one of the biggest grossing games of all time, currently as well.
That they were using a lookalike of her in the game without her permission. Now, okay, I can understand why you would be upset about that.
Yeah,
I've looked at the two images of Lindsay Lohan and the picture that they refer to. I can't see the resemblance.
No, I mean they all look alike when you get pixelated.
Yeah. And apparently this court case has been going on since 2013 and has only just come to a final conclusion of that the courts have finally awarded Rockstar the win of saying that apparently she's got no grounds to sue Rockstar for profits of the game. That I think is fair enough. Rockstar's made a heaps ton of money off shark cards from GTA 5 that I have been guilty of buying myself on some occasions.
It's because you like GTA.
Aren't the shark cards like a couple $100?
Yes.
How much are shark cards? Aren't they like $100 or something?
For 1.5 million, it's $20.
Oh, okay.
But I only buy them when they've got rebates on, so like they go, oh yeah, buy 1.5 million, and you can get like 3 million or whatever. And I wanted to level up my Xbox character because it's behind my PlayStation.
I just want to point out I'm receiving some feedback from the audience. They're saying talk about something more interesting.
Talk about something more interesting. I don't know. Lindsay Lohan being trying to counter-sue Rockstar is pretty interesting.
So I'm gonna move on. I've got a news story about a Easter miracle. Missing an Easter miracle. There's a missing 3-year-old boy was found today after wandering up a. No, he was alive. Yeah.
Hey, it's a valid question.
He was found dead.
Okay. So let me finish. So a missing 3-year-old boy was found in Easter Miracle after wandering off Razorback. So as the story goes, his family was out camping, and 3-year-old James Skillens wandered off about 7 o'clock. The search was they stopped searching overnight because it's dark, you can't see anything, and they found him. Reasons. They found him and they asked him they asked the kid how he was going to get home, and the kid responded with saying, I was going to try and get a lift home with a kangaroo.
Well, that kid is going places.
Not college.
If you don't know, over here in Australia, we just ride kangaroos like there's no tomorrow.
There's a quote from his father here saying, he said he tried to jump on a kangaroo because he thought the kangaroo might take him home.
As I said, that kid's going places.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously, if you see the photo, he kind of looks like, too, with that, the spider baby that they had. You remember that? Like, under Sid's bed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like that head. That's this kid's head. Terrifying. I mean, but he's happy. It's reported that he was very chipper and was very happy that he got to ride in a helicopter. Although his dad Dad looks like he might beat him when he gets home.
Though, as long as the kid is all right, I guess it's a happy story.
All is well.
Yeah,
it's sending the Americans the complete wrong message that apparently kangaroos are friendly creatures.
Oh, right.
And that we do ride them legit everywhere, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, happy story, and I hope that appeases the masses. By masses, I mean like all 6 people who's watching. What's our current count? Do you know?
For me, it's 1, and it's me. So 0.
There we go. I think it's 2 over here on the Starburst.
This is the whole thing, Sean. Don't get high off your own supply. Don't watch your own streams while you're streaming them.
Yeah, I don't watch my own streams, so I'm happy.
Anybody got anything else?
I've got some interesting, sad news if you're a Linus Tech Tip fan. I know Sean and I
am a Linus Tech Tip fan, yeah.
As some of you would know if you've ever watched a Linus Tech Tip video, they have a sponsor called Tunnel Bear, and they're a VPN company. And Tunnel Bear has actually been bought out by McAfee, the antivirus American software.
Are you sure it's McAfee?
Is it
McAfee? I call it McAfee as well, yeah.
I couldn't care. I don't use them, so...
I don't even think I've got virus protection. It just sits there on my desktop.
Windows Defender works these days,
McAfee
somewhat.
News.
But yeah, apparently it's been bought out. And that's a bit sad, because I use Tunnel Bear.
McAfee acquires VPN company Tunnel.
Yeah, that's actually some devastating news, because I liked Tunnel Bear. But I don't trust it in the Americans' hands.
But it's an American company, isn't it?
No, originally it was Canadian.
That's why Canada's got it,
and Canada's got all the really nice internet laws and how they monitor and keep data.
Because
once you're an American company, you can be spied on by the NSA. What happened to Kirsten Rhiannon? We're not going into that topic ever.
Sorry?
Ever.
Whoa, this got real deep real fast.
Mad Kaiser asked questions, so I responded.
Wait, what?
Say
Mad
that
Kaiser's
again?
in the chat. He was asking what happened to Kirsten and Rhiannon, because they used to be in this channel.
They did.
We're not
They
talking
did
about
used
them
to be in
anymore.
this channel. Right.
Oh.
Sorry, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Moving on.
I think I figured out what this stream is about. So basically, you guys are the tech heads, and I'm actually doing the news. I feel as though that's where we're leading.
The thing is, Ryan wants to make this a podcast about
tech
topics.
No, it's
tech topics.
It's about
You want to do about funny stuff.
You're involving me, and I know nothing about technology.
No, but it's not meant to be purely about technology. If this was meant to be a purely technology thing, I wouldn't have brought up other things. But I just happen to know...
You wouldn't have let me in it, that's basically what you're saying.
I just happened to find out that Tunnel Bear got bought out. And I'm actually quite sad, because as I say, I use Tunnel Bear.
Yeah, alright. Well, I've got another news story.
Yeah, go on.
So this is from Perth. Prisoner gives birth in jail cell alone, despite calls for help. Now, this is talking about a 36-week pregnant woman who gave birth in a Perth prison, if you couldn't already tell. The birth was unexpected, and generally what would happen is when there's a pregnant woman in hospital, they'll move her to a separate ward, she'll give birth, and they'll take the baby away, which is sad.
Damn it, the baby doesn't get locked in prison?
It's what happens. No, Ryan. Which is quite sad.
Ryan.
But this woman, apparently, I was reading about this, she gave birth in a prison cell, which, you know, being in prison isn't exactly easy as it is, no matter what you've done. But then being pregnant is not easy.
Hang on, can I interrupt for a second?
Sean, you're fat, not pregnant. You don't have a say in this.
Shut up, no. So you say that the birth was unexpected, yeah?
Yes.
But
So
How could you... But surely, if you're pregnant, you will notice.
You sort of
No,
know. I don't know, because I'm not a woman, but...
Because a birth can take place between day X and day Y, sort of thing. That's why you've got babies who are premature and babies who are late.
But there's a difference between, being,
unexpected.
a couple of days, even a couple of weeks late, and being several months early, right?
Yes, but
even at that point where it's early, you're still gonna have a bit of a bump, and she would know what's happening. She would at least know that a baby has been conceived before or during prison,
Yeah,
she would have known that she's growing a baby inside her, and she would have known that, you know, it's going to come soon.
She knew that there was a baby, but you do know the thing about labour is that it can last. It can last only like, you know, squat and it falls out. It's like a day or so. Like it's not a thing that it's like, oh, I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to go to the hospital on this day. Sometimes it happens like that.
There's a difference of being unexpected and just early and late.
So the way that you said it's unexpected, I interpreted that as, you know, nobody knew that she was pregnant, and then suddenly she starts screaming, and
like
everyone's like,
baby
what's wrong with you? Oh, there's a baby coming out of me.
No, they were aware that she was pregnant.
Early. Yeah, okay.
It was an early birth. They were aware that she was pregnant, and the thing is that she was calling out for help, but nobody came. None of the wardens, none of the other prisoners. She successfully gave birth.
Was the baby all right?
Yes, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, cool.
But it's calling for a look into specifically that woman's prison for better facilities, because she should have been taken care of. Now, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I personally believe that somebody should have helped.
I do have one comment about it, about facilities and prison. Now, I know that we can't lock everybody up forever. No one ever really deserves to be locked up forever. Okay, there are certain circumstances, but like, it costs society a lot of money to lock people up. And it costs society a lot of money to put better facilities in place. Okay, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have bad facilities in a scenario where a woman is pregnant or any scenario like that. But it does cost an awful lot to upgrade facilities. And okay, if one mishap does happen, okay, no one was injured, thankfully, in a scenario like this. But we have to bear in mind that we can't just jump on the bandwagon of going, oh, let's make the prison like a 5-star hotel in a sense. I know that's not what they're planning, but it becomes a fine line of how much money do we invest for these limited cases, shall I put.
I zoned out in the middle of that, I'm sorry.
That's my political rant for this podcast.
Nice.
Sean, any thoughts?
I do think that we should bring back the death penalty.
Alright then.
Hasn't America?
I don't know. I think it hasn't in certain states.
Yeah, it's got it in, I think it's 5 states?
I don't know. But I think that
Texas is one of them, I know that much.
I think it's default if you have been sentenced to life,
you die.
And after, you die. And after, like, it's not like, you know, there's these cases where you get sentenced, but then, you know, 3 weeks later, there's that one bit of evidence, and they go, oh, eureka, and then they're free. I'm saying if, after everything, if you have been given life, you die.
Well, that's the thing. That's a very common misconception about a life sentence is not actually life.
No, it's about...
In Australia, a life sentence is 25 years.
Yeah.
But you can be given multiple... But you can be given multiple life sentences. And I believe so that you can have a life sentence with no chance of parole, or you can have a life sentence with no parole here until you've served 10 years, for example. But generally the case is... the case is that you will serve your life sentence, you have no chance of parole, because what you have done is so heinous that you deserve to be in there for life.
Exactly.
The original understanding was you get a life sentence, you are in there for life. And I think that is the case in America. I'm not 100% sure.
No, but, America, I think... I think America's got a time limit, but it's something like 65 years or something stupid. Yeah. So you can actually outlive your life sentence. Yeah.
Most people who do receive a life sentence are doing it for some degree of murder.
Yeah.
So the kid who shot up that school recently will be receiving multiple life sentences. So he will be in there for life.
Yeah.
If he is not in a state that that has the death penalty, in which case he will probably receive the lethal injection.
On a brighter but actually darker, less political note, this isn't actually tech related. This is actually something that I think a lot of us can get behind. It was Stephen Hawking's funeral.
Yes.
Correct.
Today, or yesterday, or whenever it was.
Rest in peace, SH.
I don't know if any of you watched the film Theory of Everything, but it was a very, very well put film. And the actor who plays Hawking, Eddie Redmayne's, was at Hawking's funeral today.
I'm not surprised.
And actually read out a Bible reading that I'm not going to read the entire thing out, but it was apparently titled "Everything Has Its Time." And it was apparently a very touching and very suiting Bible reading for, shall I say, a non-religious person.
Right.
Because Hawking wasn't religious.
And what section of the Bible are we talking here? Because that's how you start. That's how you start off the Bible. This is from the book of blank.
Which
chapter blank?
I can't pronounce all the books. The names of the books though. I'm quite hopeless.
Give it a go. Give it a go, and I can help.
How do you spell it?
It's ECCLESIASTES.
Hold up. Go again.
Say that again.
ECCLESIASTES.
Oh, that's that one. Yeah. I didn't even know that one.
Exesteles.
Yeah, but it was verses
or Hebrew Bible.
It was chapter 3, 1 to 11.
Chapter 3, 1. Or just start. Chapter 3, 1 to 11.
I'm going to post it in the chat.
Give us
a time for everything. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to read the whole thing out though, because it's a bit of a long.
There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. And a time for war and a time for peace.
That has been a time for everything by Sean.
There is a time for everything by Jesus.
That has been a time for everything, read to you by Sean Notley.
He has made everything beautiful in its time.
Okay, I think that's enough, mate.
He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end.
We're not a religious Bible reading station. As much as it is Easter today,
it is Easter today.
I've had my fair share.
I'm being told to call you off, okay?
I'm sorry. Hello.
What was that?
If anybody wants to read the Bible reading, it's in the chat. Or if you've had enough of the Bible today because of Sean's reading, I don't blame you. Sean, you weren't bad at reading, but there's a time and place.
So
surely this is a time and a place.
Ironically, yes, Easter being a holy day and talking about Hawking's
the
funeral.
Bible reading that we were talking. Yeah.
Should we talk about one of the biggest stories of the week?
Yes.
Biggest stories of the week? Nope.
Can we?
No. This is a big story.
This is a big story.
No, I've just found one. It's really important. It is actually really important.
All right, let's go.
A number of McDonald's restaurants, apparently throughout Melbourne, have run out of hash browns today.
Oh my god, this is important.
Oh my god. Why isn't this on the front page of every newspaper ever?
Yeah, Melbourne.
We're out of hash browns.
And apparently McDonald's spokesman told us a small number of our restaurants ran low on hash browns this morning due to a temporary distribution issue with one of our suppliers. All affected restaurants will be restocked today.
But do they have the Szechuan sauce?
Probably not.
Please, let's not get into that.
Will we McFrickin' lose it?
Okay, Angus, what were you going on about? What was the actually important news?
The ball.
Do they have any McLobsters?
Oh no, we're not going into the ball game. None of us.
Can we not go into the ball tampering, please?
I just want to point out the amount of fake Bunnings ads that have come out of this. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I saw one.
Here at Cunnings, we've got all your all your supplies for ball tampering, all your ball tampering needs. And, yellow tape, $2.95, perfect for lying about what you were actually doing. Yellow sandpaper for $3.50 for scuffing up the ball.
If you find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
No. What it was, if you find a better scanner, we'll beat it by 12 months suspension.
Bunnings Warehouse. Lower standards of morality.
Oh shit! I just remembered. Did anybody read Dan Harmon's tweet?
Who's Dan Harmon?
The creator of one of the creators of Rick and Morty.
No,
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty is coming back for a April Fool's Day episode called the Rickinator.
So,
you guys are losers.
I watched the first
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
3 episodes of Rick and Morty, and I'm like, nope.
I saw the memes of it, and I was like, nope. I didn't even get that far to watch an episode.
I just didn't find it entertaining.
It's like South Park. I personally don't find South Park entertaining. I'm sure there's heaps of people out there that find it entertaining.
You know, all those animations.
Yeah, the crude
American Dad
animations.
You know, all those. I don't like any of them. Futurama. I don't like any of them except for The Simpsons. The Simpsons.
The Simpsons is pretty good.
How about this? How about the autonomous car? Have you heard about this? The one that killed the woman in Texas.
The Uber one, the Uber driver.
Yep. It was a Tesla, I believe, wasn't it?
No, it was a glorified Uber car. So Uber have their own mechanism that they mount to the top of the cars.
What was the car?
But it was a Tesla, right?
But the Tesla wasn't to blame, so it wasn't.
No,
I'm just trying to defend Tesla here.
No, Tesla was not to blame, but Uber, it was Uber car owned by. There was a Tesla car owned by Uber.
I don't actually know what the exact car is, but yeah, I
doubt that Tesla would even allow Uber to put on their own thing.
Well, no,
they have their own.
We can Google this, people.
It's not that I'm looking at it here. It's not that Uber. That's not that Tesla would allow Uber to buy one for this purpose. It's more that Uber has bought a Tesla and then repurposed it. And then once it's privately owned, it's nothing that Tesla can do about.
Fair.
So from what I've learned, and they've released the footage of it. That's great. It was in autonomous mode doing some testing, and it ran over a woman. Now, this has been raising some legal questions over whether or not who's to blame, right? Like the car is being autonomously run. However, there was a driver behind the wheel who was touching the steering wheel at the time.
It was a Volvo.
Now, does the blame fall on the driver? Does it fall on Uber? Does it fall on the woman herself?
See,
now we can't victim blame.
That's an interesting point, but I actually at this very point in time, I blame the driver.
You blame the driver. Now, why do you blame the driver? Because he did not. He could have taken control over the car, but the car was in autonomous mode at the time when it struck the woman.
See, I've read a fair bit into this, and the reason I would blame the driver right now is because we know that this automation is practically in its beta form at the moment. We know that it's not perfect. So in all of Tesla's and presumably Uber's automation, they all say that you have to be practically treating the car as if you're still driving it.
Yes.
It's just driving itself. So the fact that a automated car has been able to run over a person, okay, whatever the circumstances were, the driver should have been aware of what they were currently doing on driving and attempted to prevent it. Even in automation, if you slam on the brakes are going on. And that's why I would blame the driver at the moment. Down the line, it will become a lot more political of once these systems are seen as flawless. It'll become a lot harder to point names and all that. But at this very point, I would blame the driver.
Look, speaking as somebody who has had a car crash, look, it was a minor car crash, just the tail end, and I did get rammed up the arse. Sure. But oh, he's gone again.
He's gone again.
I can't find fault with this driver because he would. I can tell you now, there is no time to react in a situation like that. It comes on you so quickly.
Yeah, but he should have been aware. He should have been looking at the road instead of.
I'm sure he was, but you know, there are variables in this situation. Like when I had mine, right?
But then it still becomes because then no, I'm not saying. Well, I am saying that you're wrong, but for argument's sake, let's say we remove the automation. That means he would still be in the same crash.
Correct, but
that means I don't point it on Uber. I point it on the driver.
But then these cars are always boasting about how they've got, you know, the morality sense and everything. You know, do I swerve into oncoming?
Well, we don't have them yet. We don't have the morality sense, sadly.
Yeah, because I thought it's just not something that we can do because we don't. There are so many variables involved. These computers, however, they're working. These computers that they've got in these cars are working so quickly, but the cars themselves cannot keep up with them. So by all means, that car would have detected that woman. It would have told the car to swerve around, but the car could not react in time.
We don't actually. I don't know from my understanding. I don't actually know if the software did detect the woman.
I'm sure it would, but
no, because there was a very famous case of the first death in a Tesla in automation mode, and it ran into a truck. It ran into a semi-trailer while it was going up a hill because it couldn't distinguish the color of the trailer from the color of the sky as it was going up the hill.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. So the crash did happen at night. So that starts to get me to question of if it was purely the automation not actually seeing her. Because there was no indication that the car attempted to slow down.
Yeah.
Because I think if it would have seen the crash, it would, as soon as something hit it, it would have tried to stop. But there wasn't much indication of that. Okay, we do have all the skid marks of the person eventually, like the human taking control and stopping, because of course, once something hits you, you're pretty suspicious, of course. But I don't know if we know yet if it was automation not seeing. Because if it was automation not seeing, then I actually blame it on the driver still. But if automation saw and couldn't do anything, that means the automation was driving unsafely.
Yeah.
Because the automation, in a perfect world, you, as a driver, you know at night that you have to be prepared for these unexpected things. Okay, yes, there isn't always something that you can do because we can only react so quick to a scenario. If someone in black just jumps in front of your car, you're not really going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, but, I suppose so. But, you know, I guess there's so many variables.
Yeah, there's so much that could be going on. They haven't made a ruling.
They haven't made a ruling on the case. And obviously, this is not only traumatic for the family of the victim, but also keep in mind the driver. Like, that guy's going to have some long loss of kit.
Oh, yeah, I feel...
Look at it from my perspective, right? As I said, I only had a minor car crash, but I will wake up at night screaming. Yeah. I've dreamt these things. I can't begin to imagine what that guy is going through currently.
So off topic, but also on topic. I don't know if you heard the crash. There was a crash involving a pedestrian and a car up at a suburb in Berowra.
No, I didn't.
An elderly man went to check his mailbox, and this car has just gone straight into him. And they've tested the driver and all that behind the car. It's not a very sharp corner. There's no reason that you would lose control of the vehicle going around the corner. So it must have purely been just negligent driving on the woman's behalf.
It wasn't autonomous, it was just a normal car.
No, this was just normal driving. So that's why I said it was slightly off topic.
In that case, it would either have been speed or she just lost control.
Yeah, it would have either been speed. I don't think they found any health issues, so she didn't suffer a fit or anything while driving. But all that we really know as people right now is that she didn't mean to kill this person.
No, most people don't mean
to most people don't mean to kill anyone. Yeah, but you can't begin to believe the amount of psychological damage that woman now has.
Honestly, I just from my course alone, I've been learning about all this sort of thing. The PTSD that she'll go through will last her for most of her life.
Yeah.
She will most likely suffer from depression, anxiety.
Unless she meant to. But that's not
unless she meant to.
That's not for me to decide.
She will still suffer from guilt.
That's for her to decide.
Yeah. Where's Sean? Is he back yet?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm here.
Oh,
You're back?
There you go.
Were you here for any of the automation argument? Well, discussion.
That was I don't know, but that was actually a relatively in-depth discussion. Well, it wasn't in-depth, but it was quite in-depth.
I got most of it. There was a calamity outside, so I'm like...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now, would you like to hear about a story that is very close to my heart?
Sure.
Okay. Did you hear... This is a couple of weeks back now, but did you hear that HMAS AE1 was found?
Yes.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
So HMAS AE1 was one of 2 submarines that Australia had in World War One, AE1 and AE2. AE2 was sunk, I don't know when, I presume during the war, during sea trials, and so she sunk, her tail was still out of the water, but there was no escape hatch, and all the men unfortunately drowned. They couldn't get it back up. And AE2 went down, and nobody knew where it was, lost all hands. A couple of months ago now, they've been searching for it. They thought they knew roughly where it was. This guy went out. I think it was a Melbourne man. He went out and with his crew, and he found it within 2 weeks. Just sitting in the bottom of the ocean near Papua New Guinea. Now this is important to me because my grandfather served in the Navy. And so did my uncle, and we have a memorial garden at uni, which lists all the lost ships during any conflict, no matter what it was, including I believe it was the Vampire, which was the ship that was crushed by the HMAS Melbourne, which was the ship my grandfather was on. He was on the Melbourne when that happened. Friends then. And I've been talking with my parents, and we're thinking about lobbying to have, because there's a plate there, there's a plaque there, but it only lists AE2 on the plate of lost submarines, because we only lost 2 submarines. We only really had 2 submarines, besides some in the Pacific during World War II. So we've been thinking about lobbying to get it changed so that it also includes AE2.
Fair enough.
No, that is fair.
Yeah. And not only that, but a ship was found recently off Australia as well. I can't remember, what is it?
Actually, I believe it's a submarine now, but that's an insensitive comment.
That's it, the USS Lexington.
Oh, okay, so it's a Navy ship. Oh, okay. I wouldn't have made that comment if I knew it was a Navy ship to begin with. I'm sorry.
It was an aircraft carrier during World War II, lost during the sea, I believe.
I retract my
72 years ago, it sank.
Well, we still haven't found the plane that went missing.
Which one? MH370
or whatever it was.
370. Which one? There's like heaps of them. Actually, that's not 100% true because a man thinks he has found it. I don't know if you've...
Yeah, but...
There's another one. I don't know if you've read about it. He, ever since the plane went down, he spent 2 years, I think it was, scouring pictures of Google Earth trying to find it. And he believes he has found it.
Stupid.
No, I've seen the photos. I don't know if you have. And it looks like a plane.
Yeah, but it could just be a completely different plane. We've lost planes for years before. There was one that we found on top of a volcano once. We had no clue it was there. We'd lost it for years. And all of a sudden we found it on top of a volcano. So...
Yeah, I mean, we find stuff constantly. I mean, look at the Bermuda Triangle. There's heaps of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And we don't know why they go down. I mean, there's plenty of planes they haven't found. Like, what is it? The Amelia Earhart, one of the most famous, one of the most famous aeronautical.
Didn't we find her
in all history? No.
Yeah, I think we did.
No, they haven't. They did not find Amelia.
They did.
They did.
Yeah,
not.
they found her remains on an island.
I promise you. So, do you watch Mad as Hell on ABC?
No.
Okay, so they.
How did I not hear about this?
No, okay, because they found.
Hang on.
A crash.
99% sure.
Whatever, but they found bones that they believe to be Amelia Earhart, and actually, no, stop, man. I'll try and find.
I'm reading an article about it. This is
Amelia Earhart.
We're currently 99% sure that
they think they found her on Gardner Island. No, I don't know about this, man.
Yeah, I gotta find it, man. Mad as hell.
I've found an article about it.
No, I don't know. Anyway, there's that. There's like a whole bunch of there was an entire
Seek
squadron
adventure, be brave,
in that area that we never found. It was an entire squadron of Avengers that we lost in there, as well as the plane that went looking for it, and we never found them. Is what I'm getting at. Plus, that there's all sorts of mysteries that are going on in the world, which is something that interests me. And it's something that we, maybe one day we'll uncover we'll figure these out, but who knows?
Yeah,
I would love to. I'd love to know, who was Jack the Ripper, for example. We don't really know.
I thought we did find Jack the Ripper. I thought we were able to trace his DNA off someone.
No, well, they think they can, but they're not certain. But the one that I love though is the Zodiac Killer being Ted Cruz. have you seen that?
He looks like a
He looks like Ted Cruz. There's a lot of mysterious things about the world that we don't really understand. Like, what's the thing we know more about?
We know more about the universe. We can predict the position and nature of galaxies millions of light years away for thousands of years in the future, but we cannot predict 5 minutes of our own weather on Earth.
So that's the thing, right? We know more about space than we do our own ocean.
Our own oceans, yeah. It was 93% of the oceans are
that one. A lot of things do happen in space, but a lot of things also follow the same rules in space.
Okay.
Yes. Earth is being interfered constantly by humans.
Well, Earth is also being constantly if you look at one piece of wind, that one piece of wind can blow, left or right, depending on basically thousands of other bits of wind in any location on the Earth.
Yeah.
It's a sort of domino effect. A wind blows in London and then it smacks me in the face here,
Some would call that the butterfly effect.
Exactly. So, yeah. You cannot. It is almost impossible to predict that. They can try and do it for big things like cyclones.
Cyclones.
But
you know what's so interesting about cyclones? They name them alphabetically.
Yeah.
That's how they work. Yeah. I'd never know. I looked into that recently. They name them.
How? How does that work?
They've got a list of where it changes every year, but they name it alphabetically depending on where it appears. They've got a letter for each area, and that shifts every year. And they go down a list of names alphabetically.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it goes. For example, so you got in the 2017 to 2018 season, you had Annika, Billy, Charlotte, Dominica, Ellie, Freddie, Gabriel, Herman, Cyclone Herman.
Cyclone Herman.
And hurricanes, tropical storms, and all that will reuse names of past ones, but ones like Katrina and that do an awful lot of damage and kill a lot of people get put on a blacklist.
Yes.
And put a cyclone on a blacklist.
That way they won't be used again. So, for example, I've got here Cyclone Norm was put on, but you've got other things. Joshua, Imogen, Harold, Gretel. So think about that. Weather warning today: Cyclone Gretel is coming. It's not very foreboding, is it?
No, it's not.
I think these were just I'm looking at this 3 columns. There's 4 columns, 5 columns. Sorry, that's 5 columns of name. One for almost every single letter except for W, X, Y, and Z.
Why?
They're only.
They were. I want to see Cyclone something beginning with X.
Cyclone Xylophone. Now you got Zelia, Zane, Yvette, and Wallace.
Cyclone Wallace.
We've got Cyclone Wallace. We're gonna have a Cyclone Gromit, or
Speaking of Wallace and Gromit, have you seen the trailer for the new Aardman film?
I have.
For the new what? Sorry.
The new Aardman film.
I have not.
It's got Eddie Redmayne in it.
Oh, okay. But however, Nick Parker's done that. He's done that other thing. Nick Parker, who's the creator of he's done that thing, Early Man, the claymation Early Man. Have you seen that? The trailer for that?
Oh, Angus.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, was it?
Aardman is the company that Nick Park made.
Yeah.
Right. The company that makes Wallace and Gromit.
My apologies.
The company. So you're like, Have you seen that new trailer? Have you seen the new movie trailer? No, but have you seen this? It's the same one. I see. So yes, we have seen the new trailer for Early Man. Excellent, we've all seen it.
Well, my most sincere apologies.
You should be. How do you know that Nick Park is the guy who made it? But not
because I used to watch. Because I used to watch Wall Street, and there was also that. It was like the zoo or something where it was like all these talking zoo animals.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. It would always start off with him. It's like it would say Nick created by Nick Park, and that's how I always remember. But I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know he had a production company. I assumed, but I didn't know.
The production company is Aardman. Yeah. It's like Christopher Nolan's is Syncope. Tarantino's is that other one.
Is Tarantino's one where they just put a woman in a car against her will and then tell her to drive it?
Ha ha ha! Okay, so we're talking about movies that I enjoy. Tarantino is probably my second favorite director. I love him.
I don't know.
The moment that I heard
Uma Thurman, Samuel Jackson, and the N word, like
I know, but I still like.
Speaking
Tarantino.
Completely off topic on films, Arnold Schwarzenegger is apparently stable after his heart surgery.
Oh yeah, heart surgery. I'm not shocked by the amount of steroids that man has probably pumped into his
body.
Actually,
no, it's
a
hereditary thing, apparently. He apparently had surgery back in 1997 when one of his valves in his heart failed. Apparently the same valve
probably too much
failed.
muscle pressing on the heart.
Apparently the same valve has failed again, so he was rushed to hospital, but apparently is in a stable condition.
Have you seen pictures of that man at the height of his bodybuilding?
Yeah?
I'm not afraid to say I find it ever so slightly disgusting. Like the amount of muscle on that man. He's gone from military man serving the military. Like he used to be in the cavalry. He's gone from being in the cavalry to being this disgusting hunk of flesh, to then becoming an actor, to then becoming the governor of California.
That he stepped down from.
How does one do this, and how do you get to that level of flesh? Like,
you know how he does it?
Come from?
He'll be back.
Do you want to know how?
Yeah, go on.
It's because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ah, I see. Right. Yeah.
What you gotta do is be him, and you'll probably
you'll succeed in life.
So that's where I've been going wrong all these times. I haven't been being Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You're just letting yourself down.
I need to go work on my accent. I'll be back, lad.
Also, continuing on the topic of rich and famous people, something a bit close to my heart because I'm actually interested in this. Some of you might be. Apparently, Prince Harry and Meghan's wedding is going to cost an estimated $45 million.
Oh my god!
That is an insane amount of money. But
tell the royals to piss off.
But look at this way. Most of that money will be spent on either A, her dress, or B, catering and accommodation.
Yes.
That's it. Accommodation for high-end guests. So
members of royalty to stay in the hotel with the reception.
What I'm actually more interested about is Obama going to make it or not?
Hello, Camilla. We've run out of space in the Marriott. You're going to go stay in this 2-star motel down the road.
Stay in the. There's an Ibis just down the road. You can stay in that.
Oh, the Blue Gum, you say? Yeah. No.
It's 5-star motel.
This is an important question. Will Obama make it to the wedding or not?
Who cares?
Apparently the world, because they don't want to invite Trump.
No, who would?
Because they told him that he wasn't allowed to visit. He was going to do like a
they told him he wasn't allowed to visit. Then Harry apparently came out and gave an invitation to Obama, welcoming to the wedding, and apparently all the world leaders turned around and said, "You can't actually do this. You can't actually invite."
I love the thought of him inviting Trump and then inviting George Bush and not inviting Trump. Like it's just a kick in the balls to invite Obama. And then just a middle finger by inviting the guy before him.
What I want to know,
and the guy who was one of the worst presidents in United States history. And then the yellow-faced monkey came along.
I don't think we should talk too much shocks about Trump.
What I want to know is why can't they invite Obama, not as a president or a dignitary?
No, they weren't inviting him as president.
They want him as just a dude, as a friend.
There is actually a very important reason. And from England's point of view, I actually understand it. Because England did turn around and say, you can't only invite Obama, because it's disrespectful to Trump, okay? I'm pretty sure the royals don't get along too well with Trump. But
have they invited other world leaders?
They have, yes.
So if that's the case, look, my guess is this isn't one of the reasons it's so expensive. It's not a wedding. It is a wedding, but it's got like underlying things.
It's got underlying political handshakes.
They're inviting all these world leaders. They're saying, look at us, we're doing this. We're inviting you here. We're gonna spend some time with you. We're gonna talk to you about stuff. We're gonna try and strengthen our bonds with you.
It's a nice political PA campaign.
They're gonna invite Trump. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna do it willingly. They're not gonna be happy about it. But they will invite him to show that they are, we are fair. We are just. And
he's not gonna be there.
I can almost guarantee they will send him an invitation. Whether or not he accepts it and goes.
No, I don't actually think he will be invited. I think the Queen hates him.
Invited. I think he'll be. Well, it's not the Queen's decision. At the end of the day, it's Meghan and Harry's. It's their way.
I think Meghan and Harry don't want to upset the Queen too much more.
Why does he care? He's like what now? 4th, 5th in line for the throne. He hasn't got a chance, man. He doesn't care if he insults his grandmother. She's off in a couple of years. Let's be honest. What is she?
I wouldn't be too certain about that. She's kicked around for this long.
Also, you said that he'll be off in a couple of years. A couple of years ago. Look what.
But it's the royal family. What a bunch, am I right?
I know you're British, and I know that the royal family is.
You know that I'm still a loyalist.
He's as British as I am Scottish.
Have you lived in Scotland?
No.
I've lived in England, so there we go. I think I classify more British as you are Scottish.
I just don't see. I see the point of royals and everyone getting sort of hyped about it, but like, I don't know, $45 million is a lot of money.
That's probably more money than either one of us is ever going to see in our lifetime. Like, spent on one day.
45 is interesting, but as Angus points out, it is a big PA campaign as well for other countries. And practically getting other countries to practically go, look at our new leaders, look how loved they are by the world at the moment, sign some contracts with us.
Please.
Yeah. And I can guarantee you that 45 million will also be going into getting, as Angus was saying, getting world leaders to come to the wedding and that stuff. Yeah,
it's just a big event for dignitaries try and strengthen world relations, which is honestly in today's current world something we need. Speaking of which, Kim Jong is having peace talks.
No. This is amazing. This is something actually amazing that I need to point out. Kim Jong-un is currently attempting to discuss denuclearization with the world. Of denuclearizing North Korea.
Well, who did he say? He said he was going to meet with Trump, or did he say he was going to meet with China?
No, he's met with China, and he's going to meet with Trump as well.
He's met with China. He's going to meet with...
Yeah.
What a momentous occasion. Little Kimmy's coming out of his...
Yeah, for the first time in 11 years or something. Ridiculous. But I find it really funny that here is Kim Jong-un, North Korea, that practically the media has been painting as a most unstable state that will doom the entire world. And here is Russia and the US attempting to practically have a dick measuring contest of whose atomic bomb is bigger than the other.
Well, that was the entire
Putin's is bigger.
Yeah.
But I think at this stage, and I don't mean to rile anything. I think Kim's realized he's been backed into a corner by both Putin and Trump. Trump being the one who's, he, as he said, got the bigger
he's played it smart. He's decided that he wants to keep his dictatorship. And the best way to keep a dictatorship is you play nice with everybody else, and they'll let you keep the dictatorship. They might not necessarily agree with it, but at least the focus is no longer on North Korea. It's now been shifted to Russia.
I really don't like Trump. It's a no-go. But the man does know what, like, he knows how to get attention. It's what he did during his election. He basically, he did all these stupid things, which then got him attention, which then got people talking about it, which is what we're fucking doing right now, and I hate myself for it. And that's what got him elected, because people knew who he was, they knew what he was about, and for some reason, I don't know why, they still voted for him. And by doing so,
I wish I had my account active. He's gotten
the attention of North Korea. North Korea has finally realized that this is what's happening. He's a fucking lunatic. He's probably serious about this sort of stuff, and he is going to follow through. Whether or not Russia will retaliate is completely up to them. But I think that he's been backed into a corner, and he's finally going, well, the game is up. I'm going to have to do something about this. Not necessarily for the good of my people, but maybe for myself. And he's going to talk these peace talks, and hopefully we'll get something good out of it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That's my political rant for the day.
Moving off political campaigning and
is it weird that I know more about
what I'm discussing in the chat?
Is it weird that I know more about the US politics than I do our own?
That's because Australia doesn't have politics. We just have people trying to get something.
We get a prime minister every 3 weeks. It's not.
Yeah, our political system is actually not what they can do for the country, not what they can't do for the country, but how long they can stay in power for.
For all I know, Bob Hawke's back from the dead, and I don't.
Do you want to know something interesting? Just drawing on that parallel between Australia and American politicians.
Yeah.
If you look at Australian politicians, even though what they're thinking, inside their heads, may be different to what they're saying, they still say, if they say, what's important to you as, let's say, Prime Minister, they say, doing this and this for the people, doing this and this for the country, the longevity of this and whatever, community, stability, economy, all those kind of things. Even though in their head they're going, oh yeah, I just want to win I want to be Prime Minister.
They're all in the back of their head just going.
If you ask like Trump or any American politician / president / whatever, they would go, oh yeah, it's maintaining the polls, it's keeping all the voters, it's anything to do with keeping them in power rather than what they're going to do with power. So I just find that even though that's probably what the Australians are thinking as well, they're not saying it out loud. They're sort of thinking before they speak. I just find that interesting.
On a very different note, going on to, as I was explaining, what's happening in the chat, Mad Kaiser was asking if we were doing more Burst episodes. We will be doing more Burst episodes. I've got actually some planned. So they'll eventually be coming out. Eventually.
I just read the comments.
And
are we going to play?
Following this topic, I do want to announce a few things that have been happening in the world of gaming and technology, moving away from our political campaigning that we've been on for a teeny bit of a while.
Vote one budget bid for PM.
Okay, stop. No, before you go on, right?
No.
Who's budget beard?
That's me. I'm Captain.
But like, where did that come from?
That's my Sea of Thieves character.
There was a person in the chat called Legit Gaming, and he called Angus Budget Beard.
Yeah. So far we've got Two-Faced Cafe 509, Tits McGee, and Budget Beard. These are our. But I'm no longer calling. We got to find a new name for because I'm now no longer allowed to call him. Okay. So we're gonna call him. I don't know, Mick Big Boobs or something. Like it's gonna be boobs related, right?
I like it.
But yeah, so there's that.
But moving on to what I was attempting to blabber on about.
With your announcements.
I will be announcing that the Xbox Games with Gold, if anybody's actually interested with that. I'm actually slightly interested in that.
Seriously, finished updating.
For this April, we will be getting The Witness, that I'm actually quite looking forward to. I followed the game for a bit, but I never bothered purchasing it. That will be apparently running from April 1st to April 30th. Assassin's Creed Syndicate will apparently be running from April 16th to May the 15th. Not a very good game from Ubisoft.
I don't. Okay. I've only played 10 minutes of it because my computer was shit, but I thoroughly enjoyed that 10 minutes of shitty frame rate.
Sean?
What game?
Syndicate.
Syndicate.
No.
Mainly because I'm a history buff, and I like the effort that they.
Okay, sure. From a history point of view, these
level,
Assassin's Creed games are amazing.
For that reason alone, I love the AC series.
Okay, yeah. I love the AC series too, but from Syndicate is where I really dropped the AC series. So
Origins though
I went to the EB Expo in 2015 when they had a Syndicate, when they were releasing it, they had a Syndicate booth, and I'm like, oh, new AC game, let's have a look. And this was after both Rogue and Unity.
Unity wasn't too bad.
Unity wasn't
too bad. It just had bugs when it launched.
Okay.
Played.
I have an unpopular opinion. I enjoyed Rogue.
Yeah, that is a very unpopular opinion.
It's unpopular with me.
It's unpopular with me as
and
well.
It's not because of the story, it's because of my gameplay experience and how broken it was. It wasn't about the actual story or the plot or the history or anything, because that was fine. It was cool.
It was one of those games that it wasn't, as far as I'm aware, it didn't really have any like media around it. It wasn't really released as a sense. It was sort of like
it was shadowed under Unity because it released the exact same time as Unity, and it looked to me when they were both released, it looked from my point of view, it was practically Ubisoft trying to practically cash grab on the remainder of the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
It's the same time as Black Flag.
Yeah, and it sets the story up for Unity.
It was on the same. It uses the same engine as Black Flag, and so at the time I was playing Black Flag, and then I'm like, oh, this is an easy transition because it's literally the same.
Yeah.
But the things that worked in Black Flag worked very well. I was using the same things. Just the game mechanics were completely ruined. They were broken. It was just unplayable, and I'm like, this is the worst game I've ever played. And then 2 years after that, I said, right, let's just play it again. I launched it, 2 minutes in, I shut down my Xbox. I'm like, nah, none of this, and I've never played it since, and I doubt I ever will. So
I finished the game and I enjoyed it. Mainly because I thought the story was a good story, but the gameplay was a bit buggy. It wasn't
it was very buggy.
That it could have been.
But
if they had put a little bit more time into it, released it maybe half a year later to a year later, they could.
Sure. The problem was they did both Unity and Rogue at the same time. If they did Rogue and then did Unity...
if they'd gone Rogue and Unity
Rogue would have been fine. I also think that Unity would have been fine. And then they did Syndicate. I played Syndicate at the EB Expo in 2015. I launched it. I got stuck in a horse and carriage. These guys just beat me up, and that was the male. And then the female one, I ran across a rooftop and just got one shot as soon as I actually launched the level.
It's actually harder.
So I'm like,
Syndicate is actually an unforgiving game.
And I'm just like, well, if I can't... This is a tutorial. This is beta, or alpha, I think. But if I can't go into a tutorial without getting shot 10 seconds after I hit play, why would I want to spend $80 to then buy the game and just do that over and over and over again? So Syndicate is when I stopped with Assassin's Creed, and I haven't played
a very unpopular opinion about a game. This game is No Man's Sky.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So, I followed No Man's Sky for a fair bit, up to its launch. Right. I knew that it was never going to live up to the hype. Mm-hmm. I bought it day one. Mm. I paid full price for it, $60. Mm. And it was horrible. It wasn't as bad as the media made it out to be, but it was bad. It didn't live up to any of the hype. But
as soon as they said that No Man's Sky was being released, or even in being built, I was onto it. I was onto it when they were saying that they were going to release it and then postponed it for another 2 years. And I'm like, I'm waiting for this game to come out. As soon as I heard that, one, there was no bloody multiplayer,
Yeah.
And two, there's so many limitations to it, even though that's what they promised. You've had like
Yeah.
4 years to build this bloody game.
Interestingly enough, the game has been solidly updated. It's been getting constant updates. It's been
Sure,
but
what I don't like about game companies now is they do that. They don't,
they do that. Yeah,
in installments, you pay full price, and then you get nothing in the beginning. Sea of Thieves is an example. You get almost nothing at the beginning, and then slowly
patch it. Yeah,
they add some more things, as opposed
Back in
to
the day,
a full game and then releasing more bits like any other game, like Battlefield or GTA or anything.
Except for Battlefield 1, they screwed that up. I'm sorry.
I don't mind. I don't mind if they do that thing. If they release a game, you know, it's been put through everything, then they release the game in its full. And then, you know, they release a DLC. As long as you have created the game, it is bug-proof. You know, you've gone through the motions.
I don't care about bugs.
I'm fine with that. But, yeah, sometimes bugs can be funny and they can be good. But, you know, if they impede gameplay, you'd hope they would have been picked up during the initial trials. If they're releasing DLCs for it, I'm fine with that. But I'm agree. Like, we came on tonight to play Sea of Thieves, but without knowing that it had an update. And that's why we're not playing it, because I was updated. Which is finished, by the way.
Cool.
If they had, you know, they did the beta, they did the alpha, they did all that. If they had sorted all their glitches out beforehand and released it as they wanted it, then we wouldn't be having this problem. By all means, add more content. But, you know, add it so then you know that it's not buggy. You don't have to be doing it.
I agree with the game breaking thing. I did want to pick you up on something, Sean. Sean, if you've been following Sea of Thieves, you would have known that when it launched, it wasn't going to have a lot of content.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I didn't know
you hadn't been
the game until I bloody played it. So
yeah, until you played it. But I don't think Sea of Thieves has practically replicated what No Man's Sky did. Shall I say? A lot of the hype was actually from the community, and the community knew exactly what they were getting when it was coming out, except for all the bugs that happened.
Okay, so the problem with the difference between No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves, for example, No Man's Sky said this is what's going to be part of the game.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen.
And just before the release, they're like, "Oh yeah, do you know that thing that we said that we were going to put in the game? It's not in the game." Yeah, and we don't think it'll be a part of the game.
Up until literally the day of the release, Bill Murray or whatever his name is, not Bill Murray, but Sean Murray, thank you, had practically been going, it's going to have multiplayer. It's going to have multiplayer. It's going to have multiplayer.
It's going to have
multiplayer. Day one. Yeah, apparently it doesn't have multiplayer.
But with Sea of Thieves, I'm assuming, because I didn't catch on really at all, it would say this is what we're giving you, or you know, this feature is going to be added. Whatever they say, whatever they say is going to be in the game is in the game.
Yeah,
even as limited as that is, because I played it. The bits that I saw, I played for 3 hours. It was a good 3 hours, but I could see if you played a little bit more, unless you know, if you play a little bit more, you will get bored, because that's all there is to do, unless they keep adding on stuff. And at that point, I'm going, I kind of get it, but I also kind of don't get. I would rather have a full game, so make your game 100% and then add on 110, 120%, rather than having 30% of a game and then slowly getting yourself up to a full game. Like GTA, for example, they're like, here's a full game multiplayer, and then add on DLCs.
Yeah,
it's been going for 4 years, and they're still adding DLCs now.
I've got an example
like GTA. That's a good mentality to have.
I've got an example. So I used to play War Thunder, and I believe you might have dabbled in it a bit. I think I might have played with you. I love that game religiously. I swear. And I saw today they actually released a new thing. It was called Silent Hunter, which is a standalone game, but it's all submarines and shit. And what they did was they released the game, and it was great. And then they did a patch here and there, which is not so bad. But then they would do huge things when they would completely overhaul systems. And at that stage, right, I'd gotten so used to the old gameplay, I didn't want it to be changed. I liked it how it was. And I think most of the other people did. It was just these developers that came in and said, right, we've got some bad feedback, we want to completely overhaul. And by the time you release the full game, because I've played games in its beta, and it was good, and then they release the full game. The full game becomes shit because they changed so much of it.
Yeah.
Like, make minor changes by all means, or release a DLC. Do one or the other.
Yeah. Don't completely change the game.
There are some cases, because I do understand from a company's point of view of why they would want to revamp a game to maybe they've seen all this bad stuff being said about it and they want to get rid of that bad stuff by revamping an entire game. And I'm not calling you a niche market because I didn't play War Thunder, so I can't really speak about War Thunder's topics, but I fall into the trap similar with Microsoft. A lot of things on Xbox I liked, and over the years Microsoft has slowly got rid of them. And that was Sean jumping into the podcast chat.
Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one.
And yeah, I get what you mean though. When companies go and just revamp an entire game for almost no reason and screw over their existing fan base, I question quite strongly of what's actually going on in the background. Because in the case of H1Z1, it was actually Sony selling H1Z1 to a different company. And the other company completely neglected it and it went to shit.
Angus is furiously typing.
Oh, I'm trying to promote the podcast a bit.
Okay.
But it's typing with rage. I'm full of. I'm seizing
Come and see the podcaster.
Yeah, it's all in capitals. If you're bored, come and listen to that.
Interestingly, though, No Man's Sky will. Sorry to jump back onto this topic. I did just read some of my notes. No Man's Sky will actually be releasing on Xbox One.
Yawn.
It will no longer be a PC or a PS4 exclusive. And now I do agree with No Man's Sky moving to Xbox One as well. Not because I am just an Xbox One loyalist, but because I've played the game recently and a new update is coming out. And the new update is adding a whole lot more of what's already been added. And as a single player experience, No Man's Sky is already very, very refined now. It's very nice. It's a good game to jump into and screw around for a bit and then jump back out. And the multiplayer aspects are slowly being implemented. They're getting more and more with each update. And I just like to see a company now that has... No Man's Sky has now figured out that they actually have a game that they could launch.
They should have done that.
Yeah, they should have done that
3
years ago or whatever it was.
It was launched like 2 years ago. They should have done that way before they even launched the game. I would rather have them go, okay, look, this game is not what we thought. We've stuffed up. Give us a little bit longer and we'll fix it. And we go, oh, fine, dicks.
See,
we don't get the game now.
I fear the problem that they had was they dug themselves into the hole. They kept going on the hype train. The developers practically themselves got stuck on the hype train. And they were scared that if they came out and said, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to postpone it a year or something because it isn't what we want it to be, they were scared that it was practically going to cripple the game. They chose to cripple the game anyway.
Exactly. Wait, which game?
No Man's Sky.
Oh, right. There was a lot of hype leading up to that.
Which would you rather? Would you rather them, say, oi, it's not as good as we said it was, give us a little bit longer? Yes, you would be annoyed, but the consequences of them releasing or just saying give us a little bit longer clearly, obviously, will be less than what has happened, where it's just, this is what they've been saying this whole time, and then everything that was good about the game that everyone was interested in is not in the game. That outrage clearly is a worse case for them than them just saying, oi, give us a bit more time.
I think also in the aspect of No Man's Sky, because it was hyped up as a PS4 game, because it was actually originally a PS4 exclusive. It wasn't going to come to PC originally. And if anybody knows, PlayStation have a shocking game acceptance policy. It's quite strict in that sense. It's very, very strict. And I think in the sense that No Man's Sky had practically done was Sony had turned around to them and said, you have to publish this game on this date.
I doubt it.
I don't, because we've seen it. We've seen Sony actually do it before. We've seen Microsoft do it as well with other said games. Halo Master Chief Collection being one of them. They practically turned around and said, 343 Industries, you have to get this game out by this date. No matter what state it's in, we're releasing it. Because
I don't know what's going on.
Because Sony doesn't have an indie development stage. Xbox now does. So what I was actually meaning to get on to topic here was I think No Man's Sky should have practically turned around and said, we're going to sell the game for like $20 or whatever. And
what they should have done is
and push it into early access.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. What they should do now is what all game, especially indie game companies are doing now, is just push everything into early access.
Yeah.
They call it early access, even though every other company's like, this is all we've got.
Yeah.
If they called it early access, this is what we've got at the moment, you'd be like...
Early access is practically the glorified way of saying, yeah, we want a game. Well, we've got a game here. It's not even close to beta. It's not even close to alpha. Or it's after those stages.
It's basically like...
It's either before alpha and beta or after it.
Yeah.
That's what early access means.
Probably during. But yeah, early access, you go, this is an early access. This is an early version of the game. Like, for example, what was it? Biggest early access thing. Was it Hello Neighbor? Do you know that one?
I actually bought that.
Oh, okay.
I legit just bought it now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's because it's full now, but
Yeah.
it's been going on since the beginning of, or the end of 2016.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time,
It was early access, and every like month or two, they would have a little bit added on here and here and here until it becomes a full game.
Yeah.
And if you did that, but the reason why you're doing that is because you are still developing it.
It's also the same
with... It's also the morale of saying, this is a game that we've got. For example, Sea of Thieves, for $100, mind you, you only get one bit of the game.
$100 dues?
$100 dues. You only get such and such a game until, and you have to wait until now. They've released a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
I also want to point out, because I'm looking through my game list of what I've recently bought. I recently also bought Ark Survival Evolved. Ark did that as well.
Ark started off. I can talk about.
Ark started off as a nothing sort of clone of Minecraft with a bit better graphics, and it slowly patched itself and patched itself and patched itself, and it's grown into the game that it is now, and that is now a full-fledged released game. Now, what Ark didn't do right was they released DLC while it was still in early access.
Yes, that is something but I think Ark did have a long way to go. It still hasn't been fully released, I don't believe.
No, because it's on PlayStation, so that means there's a full release.
Yeah, but well, come on, man. I mean, hasn't Sea of Thieves been released? And they're still... It's been a full release,
Xbox is kinder to developers.
Yeah, but either way, Ark, it was buggy from the beginning. The graphics, look, if you've got the computer that can run it, the graphics are great. But I never did, and I don't know. What's your stream? Did you have yours on the full settings or?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I think it's a great concept, but it needed some work before it was finished, and it wasn't finished.
And also another game that most of the all the podcasts,
great for streaming Ark.
All the podcast people can jump in at the moment. Astroneer. Astroneer is another famous thing. Astroneer practically followed the example of No Man's Sky. They actually promised a fair bit, but no one knew. Well, everyone knew though that as soon as it released into early access, it wasn't going to be the game that they were promising. Everyone knew that. They made that very clear. And now it's slowly becoming a bigger and bigger and bigger game. Doesn't have a lot of content in the moment, but it has a whole lot of potential as a game. So the way I see early access these days is it's crowdfunding, except you get something right there and then.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. And that's all we have to say.
Okay, so that's a good one. Considering I just got somebody to start watching the stream and they join in on that. That's beautiful.
They join in on that. Wow.
Okay, I've got a story for you. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
There was the fire in Victoria that revealed 200 cannabis plants.
Okay.
So a house in Victoria, a transformer fire in a regional Victorian street has led police to find about 200 cannabis plants inside a house. So we can only there's not much on the story. Like there are 6 lines in the story, but I can only imagine what police officers were feeling when they turned up.
Hi.
Do you know that video of the English
yeah, they're burning it behind him.
Behind me as 12 tons of opium, heroin, and hashish.
Yes, I have.
Oh, that's a good video. But yeah, so just think about that. Like, you know, your neighbor's house is burning down, but you don't care because you're so chilled out.
Mm.
Like, oh my god, I hope their budget's alright. Has anybody packed? I think that would be cool, you know, living next to a drug house. Sure, it would bring down your house value, but I mean, you know, you don't have to go very far to get, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just pop a hand over the fence. Somebody hands you a bag, you hand them $20. Like,
okay, just on that point, if you were a drug dealer,
not saying I am, right?
not saying I am, right? If you were,
but if you do need some, I may or may not.
If you were,
just come around to my house, honk your horn 3 times, and I'll be out there.
If you were a drug dealer, would you want to be discreet about it, or would you like to basically just shout it out on the top of your lungs to the world?
No, you be discreet about it. What you do is you branch it. Yeah, so you're the main. So am I a drug dealer, or am I a drug, or do I?
No, you are a drug dealer.
Okay, so do I? So I just distribute. I don't grow the plant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, what I'd be doing is I'd be selling large amounts to people, and then they would be distributing it down the chain in smaller amounts. So that way, I get a large amount of money from these people. However, I have less product on me, if that makes sense. So I get rid of the product.
That doesn't make sense. I raised this because I have a uni friend who
alright.
Yeah, shut up. I have a uni friend I go to often.
I had a friend.
You know, I've got imaginary friends as well.
I hate you.
They sometimes drop by.
He lives in Guildford, right?
Right.
So if you want to go to Guildford, you have to go down.
Definitely not Westlake.
No, not at all. No, actually, literally not. You have to go down Parramatta Road, and then you have to go down Woodville Road. There is a house, I think, on Woodville Road, going towards Parramatta, that is honestly the shackiest house. It's got like broken bricks as foundation. It's rotted. Half the roof is missing. It's, you know, I've never seen a house like it. It is about to fall over or blow away in the wind, right? It's that bad. However, it's got up the back, it's got a Range Rover Evoque, a Bentley Continental, 2 Porsches, and a Golden Flake modified Lamborghini, and other cars as well. I asked who owns that house, and they go, "Oh yeah, it's the local drug dealer." But the problem is that the police have been investigating him for like 6 years now, because they think, you know, he's basically telling them I'm a drug dealer, but because of the police, and of course, Angus, you probably know this, you can't arrest someone for just saying that they're a drug dealer. You need to have evidence. And so far, he has provided 0 evidence whatsoever. So everyone knows that he's a drug dealer. He's showing it to the world.
Here's a hint, people.
But
never let a police officer into your house, because as soon as you let them into your house, they practically have a free warrant to search it.
That is true to a point.
To a point, yes.
So if you consent to them entering the premise, they can search the house. However, they cannot rifle through your drawers and things.
They can like browse.
If they see like a bong on the table, they can do you for that because it is in the open. They can't go looking for something specifically, like searching through and looking for things. It's the same thing on the street.
Folks,
you can refuse to do certain things. It's advised that you do them because you're only creating more trouble for the police. But you do have the right to refuse certain practices.
Yeah. So the moral of the story, kids. 1, if you're going to be a drug dealer,
don't flaunt your money.
Make sure you park a Lamborghini outside your house. Make sure everybody knows that you're the drug dealer. But just don't grow anything, and 50% of the time you'll probably be safe. And then if they do come knocking at your house and they don't have a search warrant, well, just don't let them in case you've got anything lying around. A little bit extra for yourself.
One thing that you can do is police cannot come up to you and randomly search you.
No, they can't.
Which they do. They do come up and randomly search people, which not many people know that you can refuse.
Oh no, Cameron is on the stream. Oh.
I know.
Hi,
I know. I got him on. Lauren looks sorry. But there's a lot of things. Unless they are placing you under arrest, they can't just search you.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The amount of things that you can get away with is actually quite impressive.
And I think that
in a sense, within reason, of course. Everything's within reason.
Yes. Of course. Thanks for the shout-outs, guys. No problem, CN.
I love watching chat sometimes.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. What else we got? Let me. My definitely not just looked up newsfeed. Cans one melted. Daylight savings. Grain truck. Daylight savings. Hope for gonorrhea immune.
Oh, not this. I heard this on the radio the other day.
There's a hope potential immune boosting therapy could help be used in the fight for drug resistant gonorrhea. Lovely that. 3 teens lead Queensland Police on pursuit. I'm sorry for anybody who has just joined. We have been much more before this point. Whoa, that's a big one.
Folks, I accidentally killed my audio. I hate to burst the bubble.
You bloody moron.
Oh, you are lucky that I'm recording with my audio.
I seem to have so many issues.
Bloody moron, Ryan.
You're an idiot. I thought you were a professional, Ryan.
Following on from our drug talk, New South Wales man charged over 280 cannabis plants.
Giant trust.
Ryan killed his audio.
They killed my Bluetooth, and my headset's a Bluetooth.
I did that once, but I fucked up my...
So, like, yeah. How to kill audio 101.
Cameron's asking what happened. Ryan fucked up.
I killed the audio. Well, my personal audio. Oh my god, I just saw my microphone redline. Ha! Oh, Sean, you're not a moderator on this channel. Oh, rip.
Whatever.
Anywho,
spend fiddles, pet kitties, suck titties.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's right. Wait, tell me when the stream's back up because I've got a.
It is back up.
Oh, it's back up.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it is.
You guys are really
Cameron says I'm a bit pissed right now, so I'm keen for some MKRE bands.
Such a shame I don't watch that show.
No, I hate it.
Yeah, I just know that it makes news every year it comes around. And I know that the producers must be off their heads 24/7.
Yes.
Okay, so have you read about what... oh, fuck, what's his name? I had it. Hang on.
Did it happen in the show?
No, it wasn't My Kitchen Rules. Shut up.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it again. It was Randy Newman, I believe.
What about him?
It's a jungle out there.
You've got a friend in me.
In me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Randy.
The song from Toy Story.
No,
The song from Toy Story. Yeah, don't.
Hang on, let me just quickly Google it because I want to make sure it was Randy Newman. I don't want to say it wasn't because I like Randy Newman.
Okay. Question while
you
doing
guys,
that.
you guys look while I.
If you search up on Google, Ryan, you can do this too, right?
Yeah.
Would you search up Ryan Gosling?
Okay.
Right. Just go to Google, go to images, Ryan Gosling. Okay.
You have to remember, I don't use Google. Yep. Continue.
Whatever. And then open a new tab, right?
Yeah.
And then go to Google or whatever your other search engines are available, and then search up David Guetta, right?
How do you spell that?
Guetta.
Guetta.
Yeah.
Actually, type in David Guetta. Listen. Listen. Just listen. And then swap between the tabs. Do you think?
Whoa!
They look similar.
Whoa! One's just got long hair and a beard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I figured it out. I've done it. I've got it now.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Okay. So, did you hear
One's just got long hair.
About Ted Nugent?
Ted Nugent.
Yes.
Not Newman.
Sorry, not Randy Newman. Ted Nugent had a go at the Parkland shooting survivors.
No.
Great.
Well, he did.
What did he do?
I'm loading it now, but from what I understand, he's a fucking moron. Ted Nugent not only insulted the survivors of the Parkland shooting, who organised the March for Our Lives, he outright called them liars on Newsmax Joe Page show.
You know, I love it when the world's crazier than me.
I don't... Oh, okay, that's good. So he called Barack Obama a subhuman mongrel and Hillary Clinton a worthless bitch. He's going around saying, calling them liars and stuff.
I'm gonna take another drink,
well,
guys. I'm sorry.
Go. I want to see Ryan plastered. So you, by all means, go ahead.
We ready for this, people?
But there was this. There it is. There was this guy who he's been interviewed a lot recently. He's pro gun, but he's I saw an interview with him and he was a fucking moron. He was saying that these kids who are doing the March for Their Lives, they're trying to get other people to do the work for them by
guys, is it alright if I quickly pop up and get a Coke bottle? I'll just leave the stream for a bit.
Go for it. But what he was saying was that these kids are stupid because they're trying to get other people to do it. And a reporter came up and said, well, they've organised this rally. They're trying to change gun laws to make the world safer, to make America safer. And he said, well, why don't they do stuff like learn CPR? Wouldn't that make them safer? And one of the survivors was told about this, and he came back with, if you get shot in the face by a bullet from an AR-15, no amount of CPR will save you.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot fathom how people like that can exist. How somebody can be that ignorant to what is going on, saying that CPR would have helped these kids. Like, the only thing that CPR does is simulate breathing and a heartbeat.
Yeah, the problem is
it's not going to stop you from bleeding to death.
Right? The problem is that CPR is the only thing that they do. That and defibrillators is the only thing that they do in like movies and media. They're like, oh, just give them CPR, or
they cannot
clear. Right.
As far as I'm aware, a defibrillator cannot restart a stopped heart. It's a common misconception.
Do you know what it does? It stops the heart, so then the heart can then beat normally. Fibrillation is, the heart pumping. So a defibrillator is not pumping heart. This is basically what I mean. It actually stops the heart, so then the heart can slow down and sort of get back to a normal rhythm. That's what it does. People think that it jolts the heart back awake. It's not what it does.
No, it's a very common misconception.
It is a common misconception.
But so you've read the story about the Parkland, I assume, or skimmed over it at least.
Okay, I kind of know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a kid. He ran into the school and shot off a bunch of kids, basically. Sure. But there's been a whole lot of controversy regarding the security guard on campus because they had a security guard.
Is this the guy who didn't run in and go guns blazing according to Trump?
Now before I go on, Ryan, I want your opinion on this gentleman. What do you think? So the Parkland shooting, there was a security guard. He didn't do anything. What do you think?
I think it was on the other side of the school, and then by the time he realized that something was, he had to run up. So, name any school that if you stand on one side, you have no idea what happens on the other side. If you just got one dude,
I can tell you from example. It was our school.
Yeah, let's take our school, our high school, for example, that we all went to. You could stand in any part. You can look around that part, but because of buildings and the local geography, you cannot see probably 2 sections of the school away from wherever you are at maximum. So if this guy was, let's say, down level 1 at our high school, or even level 2, anything that happening on the main quad or over towards the oval or anything, he would have no idea until it was too late.
I'm sorry, Sean. I just want to point out.
Yeah, Ryan's not paying attention.
What? Yeah, I'm completely in my own world here.
Alright, sorry, continue.
So, yeah, it depends on if he was looking right for this kid or anything like that, then sure, he's to blame. But no one knows, or at least I don't know, where this guy was or what he was doing. So you can't really push, why wasn't the security guard there? If I see a kid walking around and I don't know that he's got a gun, I'm not going to assume anything, really, especially in America, when everyone can dress as whatever they want. They can hide a gun
for a trench
easily,
coat.
and that's obviously what they've done. Except
we're talking about the reason. That's the reason why one of the reasons why Australian school system has uniforms, so then you can identify school.
So,
so Ryan, what do you think? Because I want your opinion on this, because you're generally quite controversial on any stuff. As we discussed earlier, you blamed the driver of the driverless car.
That's not technically controversial, though. That I have a very valid reason, and my answer would easily change. While some things I do get stuck in.
Right. Okay.
So
go on, please.
It's a tough one because I understand from a security guard's point of view. If you're a security guard over here, you wouldn't expect someone to come shooting up a school.
No, but that's
because of the world that we live in.
But we don't need security guards.
But some schools do have them. Some schools do have them. And I'm saying if you're a security guard over here, you wouldn't expect someone to come shoot up a school. But in America, it's almost a different story. Almost. Because I understand that in America, sadly, shootings are more frequent than most places. Well, especially compared Australia to America. So when it becomes the point of, are we blaming the security guard for doing anything wrong? Or was he simply not performing his job at 100% satisfaction? Because we can ask the same as a police officer. Police officers do not always engage if a scenario is safe. We saw this at the Lint Cafe siege because we didn't know if hostages would be hurt. But that is a different scenario because the kids weren't being taken hostage. He was simply just shooting. Now...
Sorry, wait. Oh, wait. Okay, no, I've caught.
You've caught? You've caught?
Yep.
So, it's a very hard one for me to put a finger on, in a sense, because... the only person who is at fault here is the gunman. No one really else.
Correct.
The security guard, okay, he didn't act. If he did act, we don't know what would have happened. He could have easily gone out there, blind as anything, and instantly been shot and killed. And we would have lost someone else.
Right.
Or it could have had a turnout of he went in, he managed to shoot the gunman, and no other loss of life happened. But there's two different sides of that. And there's the third side that you could wait for armed backup to come in and help suppress the system without someone going guns blazing at a school.
Which is what happened.
Because you also have to believe, well, you also have to take into consideration, if he went out there and he had a shot at the gunman and he took it and a student ran in front and got shot by him instead, how much more shit would he be in?
Then someone can make the argument that it's like, oh, he was doing his job, but he didn't.
Someone could make the argument, but that kid's death,
fire.
You can almost guarantee in America's sadly very narrow-minded political system, it would be brought back onto him.
So, look, from my point of view, right, so that guy's come under a lot of happened because he assisted in getting the kids out, but he didn't go after the shooter.
He didn't go after the shooter, yeah.
Presumably, what I can only presume would have been a revolver, because I highly doubt he would have been allowed to have carried a weapon with a large
under the
magazine.
new laws.
So he would have been carrying a revolver which had stopping power but low chamber magazine of about 5 to 6 shots, probably a 387 or something like that. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand, they're saying, oh, he's paid to stand there, he's paid to be armed, he's paid to stop these sort of things happening. The thing that people don't understand is that being in a active shooter situation is scary as all hell. You've got a man with a gun who wants to kill you and everybody around you. You've got people running and screaming. You've got people on the floor bleeding and dying. You've got people who are already dead. Now, coupled with this, your heart rate's up, your breathing's up. There's a whole bunch of statistics I've been reading into and I've been learning about. So with the police academy, you cannot become an officer unless you get a accuracy of, I believe it's 85% or higher. I think it's 85%. I think you take 45 shots and you need to hit 40 of them or something along those lines.
Yep.
On a target at the range. When it comes to an active shooter situation, I was reading one article, a man had an accuracy of 30%. I think the average is 16% of shots fired will hit their target in an active shooting situation by a general duty police officer. This man, who was a security guard, probably had next to no, he would have had basic firearms training, but nothing like the police would go through. So I do not blame this man for what he did at all. He did. I believe he did his best. He got everybody out there to save his. Sure, he could have got, as Rose said, sure, he could have gone after this guy. Sure, he could have attempted to take him out, but we would probably have just ended up with another name.
Yeah, we would have probably ended up with a dead security guard.
Whether that had been his or the shooter himself, it would have been another name on the list. There's no way that it wouldn't have. The fact that the shooter was not killed, I don't believe he was killed. I think he was arrested, wasn't he? I don't know. I think he was arrested, but
he might have been.
I think so. But the fact that more people weren't killed is amazing, because this guy just walked in and nobody stopped him. It's another Sandy Hook. It's it's all these sort of things. What was it? Another Columbine. It has happened before. It has happened again, and I can say with touch of it, it's gonna happen again until somebody does something about it. And I'm going to go back to Trump for a minute here. As we know, I dislike the gentleman, who is basically an orange Furby, but he slammed the NRA, the other wrestlers. Yeah, I watched the video. He actually did good for once. He brought up a topic at one of his meetings that was filmed, talking about the NRA, saying that he is a supporter of the NRA, he's a member of the NRA. However, he did not believe in what they believe in. He believed that they should, by all means, keep the Second Amendment, but change it. And Jim Jeffries brought up an excellent point. People are going, you cannot change the Second Amendment. You can fucking change the
It's an amendment.
It's called an amendment. It has been amended before. So why not do it again?
I do agree with you, Angus, but there is one thing I'd like to point out. Trump is a politician. Trump knows how to play his audience.
No, he's not a politician. He's a businessman.
Well, he's currently in politics.
He knows how to sell.
So what I'm saying... No, I'm saying... Yeah. I'm just saying that he is currently in politics. He's a politician. I'm not saying he knows how to run a country. I'm just saying he is a politician. Right now, he probably came under a lot of pressure with a lot of the shootings that had happened in America. So him trying to take a jab at saying the NRA and whatever they are, whatever they're called, practically, I just see that as him trying to rally some more support from the people again. Okay, it is a step in the right direction, but I don't actually know if Trump means it from the bottom of his heart, in a sense.
Well, look, I'd like to think he does, because as much as he, I'd like to think that he is a father, and I'd like to think that he has put himself in the shoes of these parents who have lost children, and imagine what if Ivanka had gone off to school one day and not come home.
A small loan of $1 million.
What if Ivanka had gone off one day to school and never came back? She wouldn't have, because obviously she was at the top, the highest of boarding schools with the best security guards in all of Switzerland, or wherever the fuck she was. But, he's actually done something good for once. I feel as though it has been completely overshadowed by the rest of the bullshit that is in this world at the moment. And let's be honest, there is a lot of bullshit in the world currently.
I just can't see America's gun laws ever changing.
Yeah. No, they won't, because they're too fixed. Because the reason, and Sean, you're a bit of a history buff as well as I am. The reason that the Second Amendment came into play was so that the American citizens could arm themselves in case of an attack by the British.
Yeah.
Not by the British. It was after the War of Independence. It was so that then, if the government was to raise up against them, the people could arm themselves and then defend themselves from a militarized government.
The amendment was also put in place when guns were, one, not very accurate, two,
took 3 hours to load.
Yeah. They weren't the semi-automatic weapons that we have today.
It's a never-ending argument, and look, I can only pray that it will be changed one day. But that day, unfortunately, will not come for at least a few years until some politician's child gets killed or some politician gets killed. They will not stop.
See,
the shootings will never stop. But terrorism has been around. I'm not saying this is actually. Terrorism has been around since the dawn of time, when, one tribe threw a rock into another tribe's camp just to cause some fear over, whatever might happen. It's been going on for centuries. Assassinations, plots, all these sorts of things. And they will go on until the end of time, or we all kill ourselves, or the sun blows up. Whatever comes first. But
no
matter what we do, it will not stop. But we can make measures that will make our world safer for the time we are here, and hopefully for the future generation.
See, on a similar note, we found out that the Manchester bombing that happened, we found out the other day that a lot of the fire brigade weren't actually able to enter the scene. Because there was a lot of miscommunication, because they thought it was a shooter.
Yeah.
So the fire brigade was actually stopped from entering because, of course, the fire brigade isn't actually equipped to deal with a shooter.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that bomb had actually gone off. So
do you know
they were
what's the
stuck
other thing
outside,
about that,
I think, for 2 hours, not being able to provide any attention, any support to anyone in the attack. I think that is a worse side than America complaining about one security guard. I think we should make more of a fuss about why there was that much miscommunication between emergency services.
You know what? You can't. It's not just the emergency services, because emergency services work off of what the public tells them originally. So recently I've made 3 000 calls for different things, right?
Yeah.
And they have to work off what you tell them, where you are, what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they can't. Keep in mind, this was an Ariana Grande concert, so that means there was a lot of teenagers there. Majority of them being female. So when a bomb goes off, you're not really thinking about, oh, what color was the person's shirt? You're thinking, where is my nearest exit? How do I get out of here alive? And it's not just that, but it's another thing. Ever wonder why you go to a music festival or a big event, you can never get phone reception? It's because everybody else is on their phone and you can't get a signal through. That's what was happening at this event. There were so many teenagers on their phones, either filming it or tweeting it or calling their parents or whatever, that emergency service could not get through. They could not get a clear line of communication. They couldn't get any information, and because of this sort of thing, this mass panic, they couldn't get to the problem. Along with the fact that they did not have the correct information.
But I understand what you're coming from, because I understand how the telco networks work. I understand what you're meaning in the sense of how the emergency services practically just have to react of what the general public are telling them. General public is pretty stupid. But it has come out that the police were not reporting to the fire brigade fire stations properly. So 3 were allowed in and 2 were turned back by the head of the fire stations that they'd come from, saying, oh no, it's a shooter. None of the fire stations were actually communicating with each other. They were all running on their own, shall I say, figurehead, in a sense, their own chief. None of them were communicating.
Right.
So that's more of the downfall that I'm talking about. I understand that everyone tries to report a different thing, but the fact that none of the emergency services were working together is a very big problem.
Well, either way, terrible tragedy, and good that another concert managed to come out of it that raised a whole bunch of money for the survivors. On a lighter note, I know that you guys do enjoy a Coca-Cola beverage. Although, Ryan, I believe you're more Pepsi.
No, Sean's Pepsi.
Sean's Pepsi. Have you heard that Coca-Cola is bringing out Coca-Cola avocado flavor?
Oh, I heard of onion. I didn't know about that.
I need to try this. I've got imports from America to get all these different flavored Cokes. I've got imports from Japan to try these different flavored Cokes. I'm going to have to track that down.
It's not just avocado. We have sourdough. We also have charcoal.
Ooh, I need to try that with some spiced rum.
Because who doesn't love charcoal flavored Coke?
Yeah, but I could imagine that goes down well with very nicely flavored spiced rum.
Yeah, no, I don't, because as much as I love coal and gunpowder, no. I prefer not to have burnt bits of trees in my mouth if I can avoid it. Thank you very much.
I don't know. I will be willing to try it. Can this wrap up already? Sean, you could just say it.
Sean, what are you up to? You're being a bit quiet. You got anything you want to discuss?
I've got nothing to say, man.
He's being stingy.
What about depressing stuff?
Well, I'm trying. Look, okay. I'll tell you what. A lovely story. 2 houses destroyed by fire. Cannabis poisoning, car crash.
A lovely story. This will be our final report. It will be a tech report.
Yeah,
I don't care if you've got any stories, Angus. Sean, you might find this one a teeny bit interesting. Google is attempting to rival Amazon at the moment. Now,
the whole shopping thing?
Yeah, in the shopping thing. Google has practically been majoritarily a search engine for the past X amount of years, and they've been running mostly Android. That is the biggest mobile operating system in the world, might I add. They've been doing pretty well for themselves. Amazon, on the other hand, started off selling books. They've now become a mega superstore that sells practically anything you could ever dream of. including, I believe, a flamethrower from our friends Elon Musk.
The Boring Company, yeah.
The Boring Company, yes.
The Boring Company, my art.
And currently Google has been looking into this situation and has come back in fighting with Google Shopping. Now, what it is, it's not actually like Amazon whatsoever. Google don't actually sell any of the products. They just take a teeny bit of the profit. They practically show you a list of where you can buy everything from, and you add it all to the Google cart. And you just add everything from every store that you could want. So like, in our sense, if I was looking at buying an Xbox, Google might show me Xboxes from JB Hi-Fi, EB Games, Target, and Harvey Norman, some of our local stores that happen to sell them. And I could add the console from JB Hi-Fi and maybe add a game from EB Games and a controller from Harvey Norman. And I could pay with it all in one big transaction. Google would just take a small amount of that money. And apparently it has been a huge success recently, with stores reporting an increase of 14% in sales alone, online sales, due to Google's new system. So yeah, we now have another player in the online market industry that I really don't know how I feel about.
It's just the biggest company taking over a system that another huge company already has in place. What was wrong with going to just a shop or going to Amazon or whatever just to get whatever you want? Now we have to add in a middleman, which is Google. And I get the whole convenience argument where it's like, yeah, you pay for different things, put it in the one place, Google, and then ship it to you, or pay for it and then ship it to you. It's
morality behind it. For getting better prices. That's all I can see it being.
Also, when you say they take a small fee, do they take the small fee from the people that they're getting the products from, or from the customer?
Sadly, I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
I've only started reading into it.
If it's from the retailers themselves, then they're not making any money from it, even though their sales are higher. They're basically, any profits that they get are being given to Google, because then the profits have to go up the prices have to go up to make that profit, to make way for Google's pay. But also, if it's from the consumer, then you kind of go, what's the point? Whatever savings you've made, unless it's huge, you have to pay back to Google, and you may as well have just paid normal price for anything that you're wanting to buy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pointless. It's not pointless, but it's not pointless for the consumer. It's pointless for
the store.
Actually, no, it is pointless for the consumer if their money is being...
If they have to pay something to Google, if the consumer has to pay something to Google, it's pointless.
It's pointless.
If Google
if Google has to take money from the retailers, then it's pointless as a business strategy for the retailers.
Yeah.
Angus is furiously typing again.
It's full of white hate and rage.
Right. I think that will wrap up.
I do too. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Podcast. Yeah, 2 hours, 10 minutes. That's something of a podcast. I didn't realize it went that long. So, are we going to be streaming Sea of Thieves after this, lads?
No. I don't know, man. Maybe not.
Probably not.
Probably not. I finished the download, but I don't know.
We'll do it tomorrow.
No, that's all right. So yeah, that will be all from us.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Evening, and yeah, thank you for watching, guys. All listeners, depending on where you are, what platform you are on. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your long weekend, fellas. It is just one day, but oh well.
Fellas and ladies, come on, right?
All the ladies that watch.
Wait, no, seriously, we have had, I believe, at least 2 female viewers. So
anyone can be a lad.
That's true.
It's like how anyone can be a guy.
No.
Yes, when I address a bunch of people, I go guys.
Yeah, no.
Even if there's
you can address a group
Yes, a group of people. Yes, any single person can be a lad. Any group of people can be guys.
Okay,
However,
let's wrap it up. Come on.
I do call girls dudes. Hey, dude.
Yes.
What up, dude? Anyway, goodbye, everyone.
It's all about intent. See you, people.
And consent.
And consent. Good